Stand by.
Hey everybody, I'm out here at the range getting a little bit of range time. I did some work today and I got my Athlon red dot on my CZ Carry Optic gun. So I've been running a little bit, zeroed it in, and right now just kind of working on some accuracy just to see what it'll do. So far I'm kind of liking the 3 MOA. So right now I'm probably about 45 yards or so, maybe 40 yards. Those are the targets down there. I got a paper one and a steel one. Let's go for a couple of hits on the paper, see how many I got paced. So let's see what kind of pasting we got to do. I think there's going to be one of them that's not so great. I think shot number 2 felt like it's going to be a little bit to the right. Okay, so here we are. I think I counted, I have to count again, but I think 46. This is going to be shot number 2. This one, that's a no-go right there. I felt it was bad. Yanked it right there at the end. These two pull a little bit right, but then the other 7 are all in the 8. So we'll go down. We'll do it one more time. 10 shots. All right, there's our targets down there again. I'll try to remember to count my steps this time, but I think this is about 45, 46 yards. We'll try it again, 10 shots. All right, got some pasters in my pocket. I think number 5 might have been a little bit to the right again. All right, so let's see, I'll count the steps. 1, 2. So I counted 43. So it looks like this time we're doing a little bit of healing and we're off to the right again. And I know it's zeroed, so I know that's me. This is one of the things that I was taught. Merle Eddington was one of the things that I asked him, hey, you know, can you help me learn to shoot? And he said, work on accuracy. If you can't hit what you're aiming at, then nothing else matters, right? So this is one of the things I like to come out and do, working with this new dot. I like it. The 3 MOA is actually really nice. So let's do it again. Okay, so this time I brought it back to about 25 yards. So I was hitting about 50% at 45, working with this dot, getting back into shooting this pistol. So I'm going to bring it back a little bit, and I'm going to work on a little bit more trigger control and getting away from that healing and pulling to the right. So we'll hit some at 25. We'll go 10 shots again. 10 shots. Let's count the steps, make sure I'm right at 25 yards. So that's about 28. So looks like overall we're good. So we fired 10 shots. We got one over here and we got one over here. So we got sloppy twice, but the rest of them are all in the A zone. So that's where we want to be. We'll do that one more time. Same spot, 10 shots. Number 9. Number 9 may not be so good. Let's go see. If it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be off to the right. All right. So here we are. And this one's going to be number 9. And if you look close, I think we call that a hit on match day. But we want to bring that in. I felt myself get a little sloppy on that, and I actually called that one out to the right. But as we can see, the rest of everything else is in the A zone. That's where we want to be. Okay. Now we're about that 10-yard mark. So what I want to do here is we're not going to leave the range without doing something fast, right? So I think I'm going to do a couple of 5-round exchanges, work on some trigger control, see if I can keep them all in the A zone. To be honest, this is actually a little bit more difficult for me than shooting at the the 25-yard plus line and trying to be accurate. So let's see what happens. So what that's going to do for me is try to work on some transition speed type shooting. Let's make sure I'm at 10 yards too. So it's closer to 12. We'll call it the same. So looking at the target. So what I notice here is that I'm favoring now when I'm shooting faster over to the left, which is actually a little bit more normal. So I got this one here. That was the second pull on the second string of 5. Okay. And then some of these other ones are all leaning out. So we did that 4 times. So that was 20 rounds. And we pushed 1, 2 out. That one's right on the line, so it's still good, but we got 2 of them out. And I knew when I yanked that one. Try it again. That one felt a little bit better. Let's go down and see how it did. still yanked one out. And I don't even know which one that was. Okay, so we did some accuracy. We did some trigger work. So now it's time to make the wheels fall off. So this one I like to do because it's humbling. So what I'll do is I'll come out, I'm going to put 2 on paper, 1 on steel, 2 back on paper. So it's a transition not only from a target to a target, but it's also to steel. For some reason, even though I shoot steel challenge quite a bit, maybe I take it for granted when I'm on the USPSA side, but I like to miss that steel. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make fun of me if you don't get to hear that ding. That's the thing about the videos when you're doing steel challenges. You know, you can come out here and make it look great shooting paper, you know, running around and looking like a badass, and then nobody gets to see the scoring. But if I'm going to make mistakes here, it's going to be, you're not going to hear a ding. So now that I've said that, I got to work on it pretty hard. So let's see what happens. Yeah. So, admittedly, what I did was I came up and I tried shooting the steel too fast. So that probably tells me that I was probably trying to shoot the paper too fast. So we're going to see where those hits landed. They felt good, but that doesn't mean that they are good. So let's see. So, yep. As predicted, we got one way down here. We got one way over here. And we got one right here. Now the good news is I know why I do that. The reason I do that is loosening my grip. And that's something that I have to work on, because what I like to do, and I will bet you most of these came from the transition coming back from right to left, is for whatever reason I like to loosen my grip as I transition, especially from right to left. And that's exactly what will happen when you start doing that. So let's do it one more time. All right, same thing this time, 2 on paper, 1 on steel, 2 on paper from 25 yards. So the first thing you might notice is I slowed it down. There's going to be one bad one, and it's going to be way low left again. And I caught myself. It was on the second string, and it was the first shot coming from the plate to the paper. So let's see if I called it correctly. Yep, right here. That's it. It's that little nasty guy. Okay, so We got all of them in the paper except for this one and that one. So we had 2 out, and I hit the steel each time. And that was from slowing it down, getting more deliberate. And we can start adding more speed later. So I think we're going to do one more thing and then head for home. Okay, so one more thing before we go home. I usually always like to practice one-handed shooting. This comes up in competition, but it comes up even more in your self-defense scenarios. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but self-defense is going to have a lot of one-handed shooting. So I really do like to practice that quite a bit. So the first round is going to be 5-shot increments, right-handed from the 25-yard line. Let's go down and have a look-see. I know I pulled a couple of them. That's why I like to do the right hand, the strong side, at 25 yards, is to try to push, you know, what we can accomplish. I know I yanked a couple of them. Well, it's more than a couple. So it's looking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I yanked 8 of them. But the good news is I'm pushing them all the same way. So I'm pushing them all to the left. So I think I need to try to do this one more time, and I need to make sure that I am getting my finger all the way on the trigger. All right, one more time. Hit or miss. 5-shot intervals, strong hand only, 25 yards. So I slowed those down a little bit, except for the last, especially the last one. I think the very last shot, I threw way off to the right. I loosened up my wrist, let it break, and I think it went quite a bit off to the right. Let's see what happened. Well, not only did it go right, it went way up here too. Yeah, that was a really bad shot. Self-defense situation, law enforcement situation, that's big trouble for me. So then I've still got some out here on the left too. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, those were all one string. I came out on the draw, put my finger in a particular place, and I didn't make the correction. I knew that it was wrong, well, yeah. I have a feeling all four of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have a feeling those were all the same string, because it just felt bad. But the rest of them are good. Let's do left-handed. So now we're going to do some support side, left-handed. Support side, a Larryism, as I'm going to start calling them, is coming from Larry Drake, who I did an interview with earlier, who was over at my house for about half the day, caught up. And this is one of the things that I remember him telling me, teaching me, instructing me to do. And that's how to transition from your strong side to your support side single-handed shooting. I see a lot of things out here on the competition field. Some of them are just downright unsafe. But there's a couple things that work. This is one of them. This is my favorite. This is the one that I've stuck to. So this is what Larry passed on to me. So when we draw, we're going to come out and we're going to draw the exact same way that we normally do. So here's what's going to happen though. So I see people doing a couple different things. And again, we're empty. No magazine, empty, nothing in there. So probably what I see the most is people will pretty much just hand it back and forth. Okay? And that works. That works. But like one of the things we talked about today is what's going to happen under stress. You know, are you doing this the exact same way every single time? Okay? And if that's not important to you, then that's not important to you. I think it's important. So the way that Larry showed me, and I really love this, this is one of the things that I really took away from the law enforcement training, was whether we're two-handed or we come out single-handed, what we're going to do is we're going to take this hand, take that webbing, and we're going to loosen our grip here, but we're still strong grip here with our other fingers. And what we're going to do is we're going to jam this underneath and then just take it from this hand. So seeing it from the other side, I'll do it with my right hand to go from the left to the right. Take this webbing and we're going to jam it in there as we loosen this grip, and then we're going to take it. Now, among many of the advantages, what happens is just like when you draw from the holster, you want this very tight. So a lot of times when you go handing this back and forth, you'll hand it and maybe you get something like this, and then you gotta do all of this. Well, I would hope you take the time, if you passed it off to yourself like this, that you don't start shooting like that. But it's a very good opportunity to get that perfect grip again. See, I'm in perfect grip right now without any adjustment needed. So same thing from the other side again. Coming up over the top, loosening my thumb hold, coming up underneath and grabbing. Okay, so I'm doing it very slow, but it can be done quickly. Love it. Love it. Okay. And the other thing is a little bit of mentality. So you might have noticed that I said support hand. A lot of people say weak hand. I'm big on your thought mentality, how you think, because it's going to be what you rely on later. It's going to be how you train, and it's going to be what you think about when you train, and under stress is going to be what comes out. So I was taught to refer to my left hand as support side, and that's what it is. When you have a two-handed grip, you have a strong hand and a support hand. So when you're shooting single hand, you have a single strong hand shooting, and then you have your support side only shooting. Okay, so let's give it a run. Support hand shooting, 25 yards, 5 shot increments. Yeah, I can't follow instruction. And there's a little bit of a reason. Usually, for whatever reason, I've always done support side 10 rounds. I think it just has to do with doing less of those transitions and holding that gun out there for longer. But that's what I did naturally without even thinking about it. I got to about 7 or 8 and I'm like, oh, I said I was going to do 5. So I can't follow my own instruction. So let's see how we did. So again, 25 yards. We put 20 rounds down. We've got 2 out. We'll do that one more time and then hit from. All right. I hate Matthew McConaughey. My wife loves him, so I love to make fun of him all the time. And then she'll say something disparaging about Britney Spears, and then it's on. So, same thing, 25 yards, support side, 10 round strings. I'll do 2 of them, then we'll go down and see what we need to paste. All right, let's go down and see where we're at. I think one of the shots on string 2 might have got away from me a little bit. I think I let the gun dip. So let's see where we're at. Well, we kind of did the same thing. We've got 4 out here on this rim, right on the outside. I think this one down here is the one that I dipped the gun. That's a pretty happy target from a pretty happy practice. I'm liking the dot. We're gonna go home and talk about it.